There will come a time in a woman's life when she'll ask herself, should I forgive, or is it time to let go? They say forgiveness is for the strong, and they're right, because forgiveness isn't easy. It's not something that comes naturally when you've been hurt deeply. It's not something that feels good right away. In fact, most of the time, forgiveness feels unfair, like you're letting someone off the hook too easily. Like you're saying it's okay, even when it clearly wasn't. But real forgiveness is not about saying what they did was okay. It's not about pretending the pain didn't happen. It's not about forgetting the betrayal, the disappointment, the broken trust. No, forgiveness is not a gift you give to the person who hurt you. It's a gift you give to yourself. You forgive because you don't want to carry the weight anymore. You forgive because your heart is tired of playing the same painful memory over and over again. You forgive because holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. And I know it's easier said than done. When someone breaks your heart, when someone betrays you, when someone says things you can never unhear, it feels impossible to let go of the anger, and that anger becomes your shield, your protection, your proof that what they did mattered, that you were hurt, that you didn't deserve it. But the truth is, the longer you hold on to that anger, the more it controls you. It steals your peace, it hardens your heart, it affects the way you see yourself, the way you trust others, the way you love again. Forgiveness doesn't mean you let them back in. It doesn't mean you allow the same cycle to repeat. It doesn't mean you forget what you've learned. Forgiveness is simply saying, I choose to release this pain, not for you but for me. I choose to heal. I choose peace over bitterness, because forgiveness is not weakness. It's strength in its purest, quietest form. It's a woman looking at the deepest wound in her heart and saying, you don't control me anymore. It's waking up and deciding, I won't be bitter today. It's finally being able to remember without crying, to speak about it without shaking, to move forward without resentment. Forgiveness is freedom, and you deserve to be free. You deserve to live without constantly checking who still owes you an apology. You deserve to walk through life without dragging every betrayal behind you like chains. You deserve to wake up in the morning without the heaviness in your chest. You deserve lightness. You deserve joy. And the beautiful thing about forgiveness, it doesn't depend on anyone else. You don't have to wait for them to say sorry. You don't need them to understand what they did. You don't even need closure from them. The closure, it comes from you. It comes from the moment you choose to stop bleeding over the same wound. It comes from the decision to stop rereading the same chapter, hoping the ending will change. It comes when you finally tell yourself, this is where the pain ends, and where I begin again. You can forgive someone and still set boundaries. You can forgive someone and never speak to them again. You can forgive someone and still acknowledge the damage they caused. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's remembering without letting it destroy you. Sometimes the person you need to forgive is yourself. For staying too long, for ignoring the signs, for believing too much, for breaking your own heart trying to keep someone else whole. Be gentle with yourself. We all make mistakes in love, in trust, in judgment. But don't let your past punish your present. Learn, heal, grow, and forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You deserve a heart that's soft again. You deserve to smile without pretending. You deserve to love without fear, because at the end of the day, forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. And you, dear one, are worthy of peace, worthy of freedom, worthy of a heart that no longer carries pain it didn't ask for. So when you're ready, not when others say you should be, but when you're truly ready, let it go, not for them, for you, because the truth is, not everything you hold on to is meant to stay. Some things were beautiful for a season. Some people came into your life to teach you, to shape you, to awaken something inside you, but not all of them were meant to stay forever, and that's the hardest part. To accept that love, even when it's real, doesn't always mean it's right. You gave your heart, you gave your effort, you fought for the relationship, the friendship, the dream. You stayed longer than you should have, you hoped things would change, you prayed for a different ending. But deep down you knew when it started to feel heavy, when you stopped recognizing yourself, when your smile was still there but it no longer reached your eyes. Letting go isn't about giving up on love or giving up on people. It's about honoring what you truly deserve. It's about acknowledging that peace has become more important than proving a point. It's not that you didn't try, it's that you've already tried enough. Sometimes we stay because we don't want to be seen as the one who walked away. We're afraid they'll say we gave up too quickly, that we didn't fight hard enough, but what people don't see is everything we carried in silence, the nights we cried ourselves to sleep, the way we tried to hold everything together when we were falling apart inside. There's nothing weak about letting go. In fact, it takes incredible strength. Strength to walk away from something familiar, strength to choose your healing, strength to say, "This is not what I want anymore. This is not who I want to be." You're not losing when you let go. You're gaining space for clarity, for growth, for a love that doesn't hurt. You're choosing to stop watering something that hasn't bloomed in a long time. You're choosing to stop proving your worth to someone who should have seen it from the beginning. And yes, there will be moments when you miss it, when you remember the good times and wonder if you made a mistake. But don't let the highlight reel make you forget the full story. Don't let the memories fool you into going back to something that hurt you more than it healed you. You're allowed to choose yourself. That doesn't make you selfish. That makes you wise. That makes you someone who knows that love shouldn't require you to lose your voice, that affection should never come at the cost of your dignity. It's okay to say, "This no longer serves me." It's okay to want more, for your heart, for your peace, for your future. You're not meant to shrink to fit into someone else's comfort. You're meant to grow, to shine, to walk in truth and light. Letting go means creating space for something better. It means trusting that what's meant for you will never require you to beg, to chase, or to compromise your worth. And maybe it hurts right now. Maybe you're grieving the version of life you thought you'd have. That's normal, that's human, but hold on to this. The pain of letting go is temporary. The peace that follows, that lasts. You are not a failure for walking away. You are not heartless for choosing yourself. You are not wrong for wanting more than being half loved. Letting go is saying yes to healing, to growth, to new beginnings. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the day you chose to let go was the day you chose freedom, the day you stopped surviving and started living, the day you stopped clinging to what hurt and opened your hands to what's possible. You didn't lose, you chose you. They always say, give it time. Time heals all wounds. But what if time passes and it still hurts? What if the days move forward, but your heart is still stuck in the moment it broke? What if time just teaches you how to hide the pain better, not how to truly heal? Because the truth is, time doesn't always heal, but truth does. And sometimes the most healing thing you can do for yourself is to face what really happened, even when it hurts, to stop sugarcoating the story. To stop waiting for people to become who you imagined they were, to stop holding on to the fantasy just because the reality is too painful to accept. Time might make the pain quieter, but truth is what brings clarity. Truth is what sets your soul free. Truth is what finally untangles the confusion in your heart. Healing begins the moment you stop pretending, when you stop saying it's okay, when deep down it isn't. When you stop telling yourself, I'm over it, just to avoid dealing with what really broke inside you. There's a different kind of peace that comes when you finally face the truth, even when that truth hurts. Even when it means accepting that someone you loved didn't love you the way you needed. Even when it means letting go of the idea that things could have been different, because they weren't. We can't heal from what we refuse to admit. We can't grow if we keep protecting the lie just because it feels more comfortable than the truth. And maybe that's why so many people stay stuck. Not because they don't want to heal, but because they're scared of what they'll have to face in order to do it. Sometimes the truth is, you stayed too long. You kept giving chances because you believed in their potential, not their reality. You lost parts of yourself trying to fix someone who didn't want to be fixed. You held on to a relationship that looked good on the outside but was draining you on the inside, and it's okay to admit that. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you honest, and honesty is where real healing begins. Time alone won't fix a broken heart if that heart is still living in denial, but when truth enters, even if it comes like a storm, it clears the air, it gives you space to rebuild, it gives you permission to stop hoping for what will never be and start moving toward what can be. Truth doesn't always feel good, but it always leads somewhere better. Maybe the truth is, you outgrew the version of you that used to tolerate so much. Maybe the truth is, they never really saw you, not the way you needed to be seen. Maybe the truth is, you've been strong for so long that you forgot it's okay to break. Whatever your truth is, don't run from it. Let it speak, let it rise, let it be your turning point, because while time keeps ticking, only truth can transform. And one day, you'll look back and realize the moment you stopped waiting for time to heal you, and started embracing the truth of your story, was the moment you finally began to feel whole again. You stopped wondering why it happened. You stopped needing all the answers. You simply accepted what was, and you made peace with it. Truth makes peace possible, not pretending, not performance, not silence. Just truth, so no, you don't need more time. You need more honesty, more courage to face what's been buried, more grace to forgive yourself for not knowing better back then. Because healing doesn't come from counting the days since the heartbreak. It comes from confronting it, learning from it, and rising above it. Time may fade the memory, but truth heals the heart, and you are worthy of that kind of healing, the kind that isn't rushed, the kind that is real, the kind that begins with truth and ends in peace. Love without respect, it sounds like such a beautiful thing at first, because love feels like magic, like butterflies, like warmth inside your chest. But what happens when that love isn't matched by respect? When the person you give your heart to doesn't see you, doesn't honor you, doesn't protect the sacred space where your soul lives? Love without respect is a slow heartbreak. It's the quiet kind of pain that creeps in, unnoticed at first, but grows stronger every day. It's the moments when your feelings are dismissed, when your opinions don't matter, when your boundaries are crossed again and again, and you start to believe that it's your fault for asking for too much. You stay because you love, but what you don't realize is that love alone isn't enough. Love without respect is like a beautiful flower planted in poor soil. It looks pretty on the outside, but it's dying underneath. It doesn't get the nourishment it needs to grow strong. It doesn't have the foundation to survive storms, and it hurts because every time you give your love, you hope for respect in return. You hope to be seen as worthy. You hope to be treated with kindness. You hope to be valued not just for what you can give, but for who you are. But when respect is missing, love becomes a weight. It's exhausting. It's confusing. You start to question yourself. Am I not enough? Am I asking too much? Am I imagining things? The truth is, you are enough. Your feelings are valid. Your boundaries are necessary. Respect means honoring each other's feelings, even when they're hard to hear. It means listening without judgment. It means valuing each other's dreams and fears. It means protecting each other's hearts, not breaking them. When love has respect, it lifts you up. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel cherished. It makes you want to be better, not because you're afraid, but because you're inspired. But when respect is absent, love feels like a trap. You stay out of habit or fear. You stay hoping things will change. You stay trying to fix what's broken, even when it's not yours to fix, and that slow heartbreak doesn't just affect your relationship. It affects your self-worth, it affects your confidence, it affects your ability to love yourself and others fully. You deserve a love where respect is the foundation. You deserve a love where your voice is heard. You deserve a love where your heart is safe. It's okay to walk away from love that doesn't respect you. It's okay to say no to love that hurts more than it heals. It's okay to choose yourself, because love without respect is not love. It's something else, and you were made for something real, something kind, something true. So when you find yourself questioning your worth in love, remember this: respect is not negotiable. Respect is not optional. Respect is the heartbeat of love, and when love and respect come together, that's when you know you're home. Healing begins with honesty. It's such a simple phrase, but sometimes the hardest truth to face, because honesty means looking at yourself and your situation without filters, without excuses, without the stories we tell ourselves to make the pain easier to bear. It means seeing things as they really are, even when that reality is messy, painful, and uncomfortable. But here's the thing, healing can't start until you're willing to be honest about your feelings, about your choices, about the people and situations that have hurt you, because if you keep hiding behind denial or pretending everything is okay when it's not, you're just putting a bandage over a wound that needs real care. Honesty is the foundation of healing because it breaks down the walls we build around our pain. It's the moment when you stop blaming yourself or others and start accepting what happened, without judgment, without shame. When you finally say, "This hurt me, this broke me," and it's okay to admit that, you see, we're often taught to be strong, to keep smiling even when we're hurting, to move on quickly as if that's the solution. But true strength comes from facing your truth, no matter how hard it is. It takes courage to admit that you're still hurting, that you're scared, that you need time to heal, that some things can't just be fixed with a quick apology or a passing day. Being honest with yourself also means recognizing patterns that keep hurting you. Maybe you stayed in a relationship too long because you feared being alone. Maybe you ignored red flags because you hoped love would change things. Maybe you kept forgiving when you should have set boundaries, and that's okay. We all make mistakes, we all learn the hard way, but healing begins the moment you stop pretending those mistakes didn't happen. When you own your story, every part of it, the good and the bad, you give yourself permission to grow, you give yourself grace, you give yourself space to breathe and to become whole again, and honesty isn't just about the past. It's also about your present needs. What do you really want? What do you deserve? What boundaries do you need to set to protect your heart? Sometimes we keep giving to others without asking ourselves these questions, and we forget that healing is also about self-care. When you're honest with yourself, you start to see clearly what's healthy and what's not. You begin to understand that healing isn't about forgetting or pretending it never happened. It's about learning, forgiving, and moving forward with wisdom and strength. Honesty can be painful, yes. It might mean facing disappointment, loss, or regret, but it also brings freedom. Freedom from confusion, from pretending, from holding on to something that no longer serves you. Freedom to rebuild, to rediscover yourself, to open your heart again. Sometimes honesty means having difficult conversations with yourself or with others. It means speaking your truth even if it scares you, even if it risks losing something or someone you cared about. Because living in your truth is the first step to real healing, and here's the beautiful part. When you're honest, you invite others to be honest with you too. You create space for genuine connection, where love and respect can grow. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You start attracting people and experiences that align with your true self. Healing isn't linear. It's not a checklist you finish and move on. It's a process that takes time, patience, and yes, honesty every step of the way. Some days will be harder than others. You might feel like you're taking 2 steps back before 1 step forward. But as long as you keep being honest with yourself, you're healing. So, if you're struggling today, remember, healing begins with honesty. Be brave enough to face your truth. Be gentle enough to love yourself through it. And trust that on the other side of honesty is the peace you've been longing for. You are worthy of healing, you are worthy of truth, and most of all, you are worthy of a heart that is free to love, to dream, and to be whole again. So when should a woman forgive or let go? Forgive for your peace, let go for your future, and always choose what brings you back to yourself, because at the end of the day, the bravest thing you'll ever do is love yourself enough to let go of what hurts and make room for what heals.